All right, we've not done a keynote speaker before on our presentation program, but there are exceptions to every rule, and when I discovered this next jewel, I will tell you I was very, very impressed. I instantly contacted her and said, "Will you please?" And she said, "Yes, I will." And that's how this happened. I met Judy at a NAFA Dallas meeting about 4 or 5 months ago, and her message was so spot on. And sometimes we make things so complex, but in this case, her message is simple. It's straight to the heart, and you can take away these marketing ideas, these sales techniques, and these listening skills that she will teach you and put them into your life. And not only will it make you a better businessman or woman, it will make you a better person. So I don't want to steal any of her thunder, but I want to bring up Judy Hoberman because I think you're going to really find out this lady is dynamite. Judy, thank you for being here.
Good afternoon. Yikes. Okay, so he didn't tell you that he offered me 4 chickens to be here. Just saying. Okay, so I'm really excited to be here, and ordinarily I roam, but I know that they're filming, so I'm going to stay in one spot. So you don't get really a chance to see the skirt, but it has nothing to do with the skirt. So I'm going to actually give you a little bit of information about me and why you might want to listen to me. So who am I? I actually have been in the industry since 1990. I started out as a producer, just like the rest of you, got promoted through the ranks, became an agency manager. I was a senior director of training. I was the national director of training. I've done all of these things in this particular industry. I'm also what's considered a gender expert, and Fox Business News gave me that title, and I'm keeping it. I'm a radio show host. I'm an author. I'm a mom. I am a wife, a new wife of 2.5 years, and I am my own best audience. So if I tell you something and you don't laugh, it doesn't matter because I do anyway. My favorite quote is something that I came up with. I don't even know how it came up to being so popular with myself, but it's women want to be treated equally, not identically. And I think that that's an important piece, especially in this industry. And I also don't mind if you tweet. So if you follow me at Selling in a Skirt, you can tweet whatever you'd like. So let me start in the beginning. I originally started out in roofing, in construction. And I did that for a short while, and it just was a little bit interesting. Let's put it that way. And I'll tell you that story another time because I want to make sure I get to tell you all the great things about this industry. But when I started this industry in 1990, I actually was the only female in the state of Connecticut that was in insurance. Now, as you know as well as I do, insurance is a very big relationship business. And yet, nobody wanted to bring women into the industry. And I still don't understand why. But after about 30 days, they promoted me to be a sales leader. Now, I should tell you, I knew nothing about insurance, zero. But they promoted me because I was female, and I knew that. But what happened after that was I started really writing business and started bringing people into the business, and they loved it. They weren't sure exactly what I was doing or how I was doing it, but they didn't care because numbers are numbers. I was then promoted to agency manager, and I stayed there probably about 5 or 6 years. Now, here's what happens. When you start to really produce and people notice you, they want to know how they can do what you're doing. I built my entire book of business on relationships and referrals, entire book. And I was told by the CEO of our company not to try to train anybody to do that because it wasn't duplicatable. I said the big secret was I was asking for referrals. I guess that was not duplicatable. Anyway, so my career kept going. I was in corporate America for, I couldn't even think what it was called. That's how much it was so exciting. I was there for about 2 years, and then I went out on my own, and I formed Selling in a Skirt. And Selling in a Skirt has nothing to do with the article of clothing. So let me tell you about what the skirt actually is. The S means standing out. Now, you know as well as I do, we are in a very noisy world. Everywhere we go, somebody's trying to get the same dollar that you're trying to get. So how do you stand out? The K is for keys to success. We all want to be successful. We all want to figure out how to do this, and that's what I help people do. The I is for inspiration. Are you inspiring? Do you need to be inspired? What are your core values, and do they match what you're actually doing? The R is for results because, after all, we're all in sales and it's all about results. And then the T is the big one. That's time management. Whether you're male or female, you have struggles with how do you balance everything out. So that's really what skirt means. However, I was telling somebody earlier, you have to be really careful how you brand yourself because selling in a skirt means I always have to wear a skirt. My next book is Selling in Pajamas, so watch for that. Okay, so here's the deal. It's all about conversations, and the conversations really mean that from all of our differences, we can really form something that is truly amazing. So how many of you believe that men and women are different? People always giggle at that because you are different. But what if we took all of those differences and we actually made them into a very cohesive unit? Wouldn't that be easier? Of course, whether you're selling to women, whether you're working with women, whether you're recruiting women, it's all part of the picture. So the fact is, now I would ordinarily walk over there, but I will kill myself if I try. If you look to the left, or on your left, where it says men, if you're going to buy something, you make a decision, yes or no, I'm buying it. Look at the other side. This is what we do every single day to ourselves. We do it to ourselves. You're not doing it to us. We have so many questions that we have to ask before we even make a decision. So here's an example. How many of you have ever asked why you're going to an event? It could have been this one. Anybody ever ask yourself why you're going to an event? And then you say, I wonder who's going to be there. I wonder if they're going to feed us lunch. How much are they going to charge us? Where do I park? Will I get home in time to pick up the kids? What about the dry cleaning? What about dinner? You haven't even decided if you even want to go yet. But this is what we do. So remember that when you're trying to bring a woman into the business or sell to a woman, there's lots of things going on. So you're either transactional or you're relational, one or the other. Transactional means get in, get out, and get the check. And that's how I was taught when I came into the business. Don't make friends with anyone, just get the check. Don't talk to anybody, just get the check. Where relational means that you have this relationship with people, and so if you call back, they want to talk to you. Very important, especially in this industry. So why do we focus on women? Like really, who cares? Okay, well, first of all, did you know that women are actually responsible for 80% of spending in the United States? 80%. That's a lot. Did you know that women over the next 5 years, what our incomes are going to be, what our wealth is going to be? Globally, this is the biggest emerging market ever. So we're not just a little niche market anymore. We're over 51% of the population. I mean, this is a market that you need to be aware of. So if you're trying to sell to women, be aware of this. We account for $8 trillion in the consumer economy. $8 trillion, that's with a T. That's huge. We control more than 60% of the wealth in the United States. I mean, I can go on, and there's just statistic after statistic. We start businesses twice the rate as men, twice as quickly. And you know as well as I do, if somebody's working for themselves, they don't have benefits, okay? They're working for themselves. So think about all the women in business that could use exactly what you have. They make 90% of the healthcare choices, 90. And 1 out of every 11 American women owns a business. So these are just huge statistics about why we even care about women. And we account for 68% of online spending. So think about that as well. You know how much money transfers hands online. So did you also know we're half of the workforce, 50% of the workforce, 57% of all women earn college degrees and 60% earn graduate degrees. Never did that before. Now, I know a lot of you are in the same age bracket that I'm in, but when I went to college and my mom said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, a doctor. She said, honey, girls are not doctors. They're nurses, they're teachers, they're secretaries. Now look at the things that women are going into. So it's very different. Women would never go into sales because that was kind of like that icky thing that, you know, you had to have the, do you want to buy a watch kind of thing? You had slick back hair. That's what people thought. And women are so tremendous in sales. This is the big one that I want you to remember. Women influence 85% of all consumer purchasing decisions. 85%. So when you are talking to a husband and a wife, please make sure you direct your information towards the wife. She's the one that's really going to decide what they're going to buy. how much money's in the checking account, when they want to start, how much life insurance they really need. So start directing it that way. And one of the things I always talk about is this is all a relationship-driven business. So a lot of you might be doing some financial planning for couples. Well, guess what? This is to the men in the room. If your client is the husband, make a relationship with the wife as well. Because when that husband is not in the picture, whether by divorce, by death, or whatever, the first thing she's going to do is find someone that she has a relationship with. And if you don't have one, you're out the door. I get more calls from financial planners that said, I just lost another one. Did you have a relationship with him? No, he's the one that has the money. Don't forget that. Okay, social media. How many of you are on social media? Everybody's on social media in one way, or even if it's just email, you're on social media. Well, here's the deal with social media. It's based on relationships. Now, most people think that social media are really for kids, but really, if you look at the statistics, only 15% of social media users are teens. In fact, most of them are between the ages of 25 and 54, 62%, okay? Women go on to social media sites more than men, 30% more, and the average time a woman stays on social media is 5.5 hours a day. Okay, don't pass out. Here's how it works, and I'm not talking about Pinterest or Instagram or Facebook. Okay, ladies in the room, if you were looking for a job, would you look in the newspaper or online? Okay, so if you're looking online, you would go and you'd become a detective. You'd want to know about this company, right? Well, what are you going to look for? You're going to look for the culture in the company. You're going to look and see, is there anybody that looks like me? You're going to look and see if there's training. You're going to see if there's advancement. That's why we spend 5.5 hours a day, is because we really want to understand everything to see, can we form a relationship with this company? Is this going to be my second home away from home? Because we don't want to do this every other day. So that's why we do this. But here's a big number for you, 92%. Women refer companies, people, services out 92% of the time. 92%. So if we love you, we love you. And we tell everybody about you. Oh, guess what? I just went to this restaurant. Oh, I just saw this great movie. Oh, I just found this great life insurance agent. Think about that, 92% of the time. But there's more. Women have an average of 171 contacts in their cell phone and on their email, 171. So 92% of 171, you would never have to cold call again if you do it right, okay? So here's just another little funny thing. If you look at the blue line, we're going to go into a mall, and all of you gentlemen are going to buy a pair of jeans. You're going to go straight to the Gap. You see that? Okay, do you see the red line? That's what we do. We go into that mall, and all I can say is we build relationships through the entire mall. Okay? That's the difference between men and women. Men are very laser-focused, and women want to build relationships. Now, I always tell people you're going to learn a lot about me over the next 40 minutes or so. I'm married to a retired Air Force colonel. Okay, you got that? So it's very structured. When we go shopping, and he says, I need a pair of pants, and we go in, I said, how about the belt? Just the pants. How about the shirt? Just the pants. How about the tie? Just the pants. I came in for pants. Now, if you asked me the same question, I would take what was ever on the mannequin. I would take the necklace and the earrings and the belt, and right? Isn't it so much easier to get dressed like that? Yeah, there's the difference. And communication. We're going to talk right now about communication. If you look at this slide, you know how the doctors say we're going to lift on 3? Well, if there's no communication, what happens to the patient? On the floor. So the first thing we're going to talk about is in communication is asking questions. And I will tell you that when I came into insurance, they called me the question queen. When I walked through the doors, they would roll their eyes because they say, how could she possibly have one more question? But my thought was, if I knew everything, then I could answer all the questions. What I did find out was I didn't know everything, but I had the resources behind me to find out the answers, okay? So asking questions means different things to men and women. For men, it means we're simply going to gather information. For women, we're going to gather information, but we're going to build relationships as well. For men, they're looking for facts of figures, features, and benefits. And for women, we want the whole story. So if you have women on your team, whether you're male or female, and you say, did you make a sale today? You're waiting to hear yes or no. We're waiting to tell you no, but here's why. So if you let us just tell you the reason why, well, she was going to be writing the check right now, but the dog bit her baby, or something like that. So you want to make sure that you give us the opportunity to tell you the reason. However, women, let's go the other way. Men talk in bullet points. Don't tell the whole story unless they ask you for more. Okay, so you have a handout, which looks like this. And I'm going to give you some clues about the questions that we ask and the reasons that we ask them. So the first kind of question that we talk about when we're doing our fact-finding is called a close-ended question. And you all know what close-ended means. It's yes, no, maybe so. When do you want to start? How much do you want to spend? How do you want to pay for this? That's gathering information. This is a definite male question. Now, let me just say that it doesn't mean that women never ask close-ended questions. We just don't start with that. Okay, because we start with an open-ended question. And an open-ended question is like an oral essay. We're going to make you speak whether you like it or not, because we want to build a relationship with you. So instead of saying, do you want life insurance, which is yes or no, we might say, tell me why it's so important for you to have life insurance right now. You're still getting, do you want life insurance? But you know what you're also getting? You're getting the why. When you have the why, you have something to work with. Okay, so you have closed and you have open. Then you have clarifying questions. Whatever you're doing, if you're on the same page, it's going to work. If you're not on the same page, it won't work. So when you say, is this what you're looking for? Is this what you mean? And they say yes, you continue. If they say no, you got to take a step back and continue speaking, continue asking questions. Because the last part of the question are the leading questions. And you want to take somebody down a path. So you might say, okay, I understand that your best friend was, died unexpectedly and their wife did not have any kind of coverage, and you're nervous about that because if something should happen to you, you have a wife and 2 small children. Is that correct? You just took them right back where they were, okay? However, I'm going to tell you how to ask the questions. So on your handout, you have the word find. And I want you to listen carefully because this is how you're going to ask questions. It works all the time, it makes perfect sense, and you're probably doing a lot of it anyway, but let's do it in the order. So the F is for fact-finding. Why are you there anyway? What's the reason that you're talking to this person? What are the facts? You have to do fact-finding. Because the F is going to lead you to the I, and the I is the issue. So what's the issue? They don't have insurance, their insurance is going to change, the company decided to pull out of that area, whatever it is. They are turning 65, they're ready for Medicare. What's the issue? Because that's going to turn into the N, which is the need. So if you are losing your insurance, can you get insurance now? Are you able to do it? Do you have to wait for open enrollment? What's the difference? What's the need? And then the D is the dream. So what happens if you are protected? What happens if you take care of your family? How does that make you feel? So you have the facts, you have the issue, you have the need, and you have the dream. However, my favorite thing is my secret weapon. Did you see how that spun? That's what I learned when I was in corporate. I learned how to animate. Just kidding. Okay, so here's the secret weapon. And this is the secret weapon of all secret weapons. You're going to ask one more question, but you have to ask it here, not when you're trying to close over there, while you're still asking questions, when you're doing your find. So you've got your facts, your issues, your need, and your dream. You're going to ask one more question. It's 4 words, and this is what you're going to ask. And don't roll your eyes because I know you're going to say, she's crazy, she's nuts, this is too easy. So your secret question is there anything else? Now, do you know why you ask it right here and not later? Because if you said to me, is there anything else? I'm going to say, yeah, actually there is. And I'm going to tell you. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to address it. And then you're going to say, is there anything else? And I'm going to say, yeah, actually there is. And I'm going to tell you what it is, and you're going to address it. And then you're going to say, is there anything else? And I'm going to say, no, you've got it all. You know what happens right there? they've closed themselves. It's a natural part of the process. You don't have to worry about the close, you've already got it. So if you ask the questions, you'll get the answers, you get the objections here as opposed to when you're trying to close. I am telling you, I have been the #1 salesperson, the #1 sales leader, and the #1 agency manager, and I've never sold a thing. Not a thing, ever. Because I do a conversation, and I always ask questions. So I'm telling you, try it on the next one. Okay, so asking questions is going to build a relationship for you. The next one is the listening and the body language. Okay, so here's two men that are saying hello to each other. Do you see anything unusual? They're saying hello. That's it. But in reality, when men talk to each other, they're relaying information. There's not a lot of eye contact. They usually stand shoulder to shoulder. They're waiting to listen for some of the important points. They tune you out if you're not talking with what they want to hear, and they bring you back in when they hear the right words, and they talk in bullet points. They also have selective hearing, okay? I know you're all laughing at that one, right? Okay, you ready for women? Now all we're doing is saying hello. You ready? Okay, so I just spoke last week to a women's association, and I will tell you there was a woman that kept coming up to me and kept backing off and kept coming up and she never said anything. But after about 5 minutes, I said, is there something I'm doing wrong? And she said, no, I was checking out your necklace and your belt and and your hair. And this is what we do. We can check you out in a nanosecond. You don't even know what's happening. But this is what we do first, because we want to see, can we get you in our space? Do we want you in our space? Is there a relationship? But in reality, when women are talking to each other, there's a lot of eye contact. We stand face to face, we listen with our eyes, we listen with our ears, and we do this. And you're doing it, okay? That doesn't mean that we agree with you. All it means is we're actually acknowledging the fact that you're speaking, okay? So when you're on a sales call, male or female, when the woman is going like this, it doesn't mean she's ready to close. It just means she hears you and she's processing, okay? Just a little trick. Okay. Now the other part about it is if you listen to what your customers are saying, they're telling you in their words what they want. If you repeat that back, they know you're listening to them. Okay, and the last one is about relationships. All relationships are connections. When you have a really good relationship, it goes to the referral base. How many of you like referrals? Okay, what if I told you that when you do this the right way, you'll get referral after referral? I am telling you, I knew not one person that I could sell insurance to. It wasn't like I had my top 100. I had nothing, zero, nothing. I was a single mom. I was in a new area. I knew no one. And this was 1990, and guess what? You know what the leads we got? Yellow pages. Remember those? And they would take them apart, rip them, go, here's yours, here's yours, here's yours. You know who I got? Contractors. I'm selling health insurance to contractors. That's all we had. We didn't have life. We had health insurance, and it was a plan that covered not a lot. So once you started talking to somebody and understood what they needed, and you told them what you had and what it didn't cover, that's how I built my business. One person at a time, from the yellow pages, all referrals. So if I could do it with that, it's easy. Okay, and we all know that, people do business with those that they like and they trust. All about relationships. So how do we get your message out? Remember I said to you how noisy this world is? What about networking? How many of you love to network? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I do not like networking. I am a sales trainer. The first thing I teach you is to network. So do as I say, not as I do. So when I started my company, I had to network. So I'm going to give you a couple little ideas of what you can do to actually make it easy, easy, easy. Okay, number one, arrive early. If you come in first, you're not walking into a group of people. They're walking into you. You don't have to say, hi, my name is. They come up and they go, hi, my name is. Easiest thing ever. Once I started doing that, I started coming a half an hour early just to make sure I was the first person in the room. It was easy breezy. Next, you have to have a goal in mind. Don't go to a networking event to try and meet 100 people. Meet 3, just 3. 3 people that you can form a relationship with. Anybody can meet 3 people. But tell these people, I was looking to meet 3 amazing people, and you're one of them. Totally different dynamic when you do it that way. Okay? 3 people. Next, I know silly, bring business cards. I know how silly that sounds. However, people don't bring business cards. For some reason, they think they don't need it. But I'll tell you another trick. When you take someone's business card, if it's somebody you really want to do business with, fold down the corner. When you put it in your pocket, fold it down. When you take it out, you know this was a really important person. I spoke to a university, they were graduating, and I told them all that. When you meet somebody, fold down your business card. They all had new business cards. They all gave me their business cards, 250 with a folded down corner. So they heard me. Okay, know the top 3. You know who the top 3 people are? You ready? The speaker, the organizer, and the person at the registration desk. Those 3 people know everybody in the room. So if I said to Mike, I said, okay, so there was somebody sitting in the 3rd row. He was a man right in the center. He was wearing a purple shirt. He had glasses on, and he had a regular lavender, what do you call it? Name tag, duh. He had that. He was wearing that, and I don't remember his name, but he said hi to me. Who was it? One of the 3 of us would know who that person is. Trust me, it's a really good advantage. Okay, don't hang out with the people you know. That's called hanging out. That's not called networking. You have to go up to people you don't know. Sorry, I don't like it either, but you have to do that. Now, how many of you have gone to a networking event and you go to buy a house or a car? Anybody? So why do people assume that they can sell what they have? The point of networking is to build a relationship. So find the people you can build a relationship with first, and then you talk about what you have. You have to ask a lot of questions. Have to, because you want to make sure the person knows that you're interested in them. Don't avoid mixed gender opportunities. Now, if you're female, I know a lot of you go to women in financial services or women in construction or women in this and women in that. And men, you tend not to do that, okay? You can go. You're allowed to go. Just do it the right way. And also make sure you do something like this where it's both mixed, okay? So you want to make sure you go to a lot of different places. And follow up. The worst thing you could do is to promise somebody, I'm going to send you this report by the end of the night, and you don't. If you can't do something that little, why do people want to do business with you? Okay? Okay, so how many of you remember the commercial with Joe Namath, the shampoo commercial? I told 2 people, and he told 2 people, and so on and so on. If you do, you're my age. If you don't, you're too young. So what that is you want to make sure that you network with your people. Your network becomes your network. You want walking ambassadors. You want people to talk about you in a good way. So think about this. What do you do and how do you do it for your clients? Make sure you understand what makes you different. What is it that makes you stand out? Do you work with a certain demographic? Do you make sure that they're covered for this or that? Are you working with final expense? What is it that you're doing that you are the expert in? And who are your walking ambassadors? Who are the people that refer you all the time? In other words, what makes you unique? So here's another 3 for you. I want you to remember these 3 questions when you're networking. Remember, we had the 3 people for the goal that you want to meet. We had the 3 most important people in the room. And now, here's the 3 questions that you ask when you're networking. First one, where do you normally network? You know why you ask that question? Because if they're your target market and they're networking somewhere else, you want to be there as well. So if you're working with, I know a lot of financial planners work with divorced women. So if you want to work with them and they're going into this particular networking event that there's a lot of divorced women, you want to be with them, okay? Second, what do you like best about what you do? The reason you ask that question is because you get somebody talking. Remember, it's not a closed-ended question, it's an open-ended question. They're talking about themselves. And the third one is, what got you started in that direction? So how did you begin your business? Again, open-ended question. Because truthfully, you want to be interested, not interesting. Big difference. Okay, so this is how things have changed. If you look at this picture, this is like all the old social networking, like your Rolodex is now LinkedIn, you have your YouTube is actually your TV, you have all these different things that it used to be. This is how it's changed. But in this industry, some things haven't changed. Number one, while 86% said they would go online to check out insurance, the truth of the matter is they don't want to do it by themselves. They might do some investigation first, but they really want to work with an agent. Social media is building relationships. They're trying to show you, if you go to any of these amazing vendors that you have around the room, you can go on and you can look at what they have, but in reality, you want to be the one that represents them and tell somebody, oh, this is why United is so great, or this is why Washington Mutual is so great, or Kemper. You be the person, let them investigate. Now you explain it to them. The relationships start online, but you want to take them offline. Face-to-face is still the way it is. And I remember the past few years where a lot of my friends that are agents said, I never leave my house. I just do everything through the internet. Okay, you can build a relationship, but in reality, the biggest relationships, the greatest relationships are this. Okay, now this is something, now for some reason, it didn't come out on everybody, on the back of everybody's page. If you don't have it, I will get this to you. But this is showing you about retention. Remember I said you need to follow up and everything? You also need to go back to your clients, because with retention, the more products you sell them, the longer they stay with you. So you can see with one product, 60% of the time someone's going to stay. When you sell them 3, it's up to almost 80%, and 5 or more, it's up to 90%. The more products you sell, the longer they stay. If somebody comes behind you and says, oh, I sell life insurance, your client's going to say, do you also sell this? Do you sell this? Do you sell this? Do you sell this? Because if I change one, I have to change them all. The retention stays. But this next slide is staggering. And I want you to really pay attention to it, because to me, it just doesn't even make sense. Sales statistics. 48% of salespeople never follow up. Never follow up. Okay, now I know that's not you sitting here, but just listen to what it says. 25% attempt to make a second contact, 12% make 3, 10% make more than 3 contacts, and then they stop, okay? 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 3% on the second, 5% on the third, 10% on the fourth, and 80% of sales are made from the 5th to the 12th contact. Now, this is not the same as it used to be, where, the insurance guy came at dinner time and he was there from 6 o'clock till midnight and wasn't leaving until you gave him a check. It's a little bit different than that. Do you close on the first time? I'm sure a lot of you do. But look the way the things have changed through the years. So don't be caught in that percentage of not closing because you stopped. The only reason you should stop is when somebody says to you, stop calling me. And it doesn't happen that often. So, I want to introduce you to a great resource. It's free. How many of you know the Dodge Report? Anybody? The Drudge Report. You know the Drudge Report? Okay, so the Drudge Report is all about all different things, all different articles. This is about women. This covers almost every single industry that there is. It auto-populates itself, so all you have to do is save it to your favorite places. If you need information, articles, anything at all that you have to reach out to somebody and you want to send them something because you can't keep saying, do you want to do business? Are you ready to do business? So on and so forth. This is a great resource. So it's thereportforwomen.com. You can take any of the articles, you can use them. It auto-populates. There's a lot about insurance and sales on here as well. Okay, now all the other one thing I want to tell you is that this is an industry where a lot of the younger people are not as inclined to come into it that easily. So the ones that do come in, share your knowledge. I had the best mentors I had were men, because there were no women, and they were in the business for years and years and years. And the gentleman that was up here that's been with the brokerage for 39 years, oh my God, do you know the amount of expertise and experience this gentleman has that he could share with somebody that's brand spanking new? So don't be afraid to share your information. There's plenty of business to go around. And never, 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 never give up, ever. Okay, and we all need a little help. Now, I know for women it's a lot harder to ask for help. I am one of them. But it's not a sign of a weakness, it's a sign of strength. So, I'm going to tell you to do something. You can't do it now, but I want you to think about this. Every one of my clients does it, and every one of them hates me until they do it. Okay? So as we go into the last quarter of the year, there's certain things that you want to make sure you're prepared for 2016. And whether it's new goals, new expectations, whatever it is, you have something that's going on. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down where you're going to be in 24 months, but you have to write it as if it is today. I am, I have, I own, I do. Not I will, not I might. So how much money do you have in the bank? What car are you driving? Where are you living? Who are you living with? How many new clients do you have? I have. You have to write it in such great detail that there's no questions that anybody can ask you, okay? So once you have that down, and I mean thorough, detailed, then I want you to go and say where you are in 12 months. You can't do it the other way around. You have to do it this way, because something in 12 months is going to take you to the 24. Again, today, I have, I own, I this, okay? Very detailed. And then you're going to do it one more time in 6. So where are you in 6 months? Again, as if today. And here's what happens. Something that's going to happen in those 6 months is going to take you to the 12, is going to take you to the 24. I'm telling you, most of you won't do this, but the ones that do, it is life-changing, okay? And I'll tell you one quick story about that. I was in a mastermind group, and the only thing they said was, what's going to happen next year in your business? And so you had to get up, you had to say what you had to say, and that was it. And so I said, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to be an international speaker. I'm going to be on the radio, and some other things. And I sat down, and then I popped myself up, and I said, oh, and I'm getting married in 2012. And everybody gave me the high fives, going, wait, you're not dating anyone. I said, I know. I don't even know where it came from. I had been single for 19 years. Whoever thought this would happen? And I just put myself down again. Well, that was June of 2011. I was married in October of 2012. I wrote 3 different books. I have a radio show. And what else did I have? Oh, I'm an international speaker. Okay? So when you put it out there, the universe does provide. So if your goal is to be in management, or if your goal is to have 25 new clients, whatever your goal is, put it out there and write it down. So I want to continue the conversation with you, and I want to make sure you understand, never get too busy that you make a living but you forget about your life. Because this business will teach you more than anything that life is way too short, and things happen when you don't even know they're going to happen. So here's what I always ask people. If you're interested in doing 15 minutes of like a laser focus, if you have one challenge, obviously I'm not charging you for this or anything. In 15 minutes, somebody that can see things that you may not be able to because you're too close, come and talk to me outside, and we'll set up 15 minutes for you. I do it all the time, and sometimes people go, how do you do that in 15 minutes? Because I'm not as close as you are, okay? And I always take questions if you have, but I want to make sure that you have how to find me. I am all over social media. I do my own emails. I answer my own phone. I do a lot of things because I like to have that personal touch. So I suggest that you connect with me. There's a lot of things. Now, I am local. I live in South Lake, so it's not like I'm traveling anywhere. And I know a lot of people. So if there's somebody that you want to meet that I might know, let me know. And I will definitely do a warm introduction for you. Also, I do have a radio show, and I was telling Mike about it. It comes on iHeart. We do a live show on Mondays, and it's on iHeart. It's all about leadership. Male or female, it doesn't matter. It's all about leadership. It's on Mondays at noon Central, and then it's on iHeart 24/7. And what else? LinkedIn. Those are my books. And if you have any questions, I know we probably have like a minute or two. It's hard to see in the light. I think there's 2 minutes left. So I tried to condense it. So anybody have a question? Yes? I'm sorry? This? I'll send the slide out to you. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, so here's a promise I want you to make. 2016 is coming. Well, okay, let's back up. AEP is coming, and then ACA is coming, okay? And I know that all of you are just jammed trying to do one or the other or both. Just make sure that you keep track of what your goals are. If your goals are to write, 200 new clients for ACA, put that at the end and break it down into little bitty pieces. How many do you need to do every single day? Just make a commitment that you're going to reach your goals. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so the question is about the goals. Where do you put them? Do you put them so you can see them? Do you put them somewhere else? Do you not show them? I have mine like right in front of me on my desk because I like to see where I am and what I'm not doing. I will tell you, when I started my company, I didn't write goals because it was just me. Who would need to know about any goals? I already knew what I wanted to do. You got to write them down. Seriously, write them down and put them where you can see them. Mine are always in like my portfolio. Any other questions? Okay, well, I will be outside, and I really, really appreciate your time, and I'm going to ask you to do one favor for me. I always take a great picture. You never know where it's going to land. So, when I say 3, if you would all, wait, hold on, let me get to the right page. Okay, so when I say 3, if you would all like wave and scream and say, Brokerage, and I promise I'll let you know where it shows up, okay? So we're going to do this side first. Ready? 1, what? Okay, technology, not so much. Okay, now I got it. All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, is this room going to top that? Okay, 1, 2, 3. I would say that there's a clear winner, but I'm going to let Mike decide that. Thank you.